In this video we're going to show you how to carry out a simple gel coat repair. During the video we're going to use our gel coat repair kit. In the gel coat repair kit you'll get 250 grams of gel coat, and we do this in over 80 colours. You'll get the acetone for wiping out the repair before you start, and various wet and dry papers and polishing compound to then finish the repair. Along with the gel coat repair kit you'll also get some pairs of latex gloves to protect your skin, but one thing you will have to add that's not provided is eye protection. Also, if you're sanding a repair which is quite large, you'll also need a dust respirator as well. Before you start the repair you must first assess the damage. In most cases, when a fiberglass laminate has been hit, first of all it'll be the gel coat which is damaged. And this might just be superficial, so just the gel coat surface might be damaged and only that needs to be repaired. In other cases the actual laminate can be damaged as well, so it's quite pointless doing a gel coat repair if the laminate's been damaged and it's quite flexible, because then your gel coat repair is just going to fail and you're not tackling a bigger problem. So around the affected area, just give it a push, see if there's any flexibility there or any sponginess. If there is, this will indicate that the fiberglass has been compromised or the fiberglass layers have delaminated. And if that is the case, you'll have to do a fiberglass repair before you do a gel coat repair. In this case the damage is just superficial, it's on the surface, so we only need to do a gel coat repair. First of all, before we start anything, we'll have to clean out the repair. As you can see, the damaged area is quite dirty. There could be all kinds of different types of dirt in there, even oil-based stains where you might need a solvent to clean it out. So first of all we're going to use just standard soapy water, give that a clean out, and anything that doesn't come out after that we'll then use acetone to clean it. Okay, so the soapy water's cleaned that quite well, so most of the dirt was just soiling. Doesn't seem to be any kind of oil-based stains in there that have soaked in. But around the gel coat repair, you can see there's quite a bit of debris that needs digging out. So I'm just going to take a sharp tool and just pull those little bits out. Any bits of gel coat that have got slight movement in them, just force them out. Just scrape out some loose fibres as well. You see this gouge here, there's no loose bits of gel coat, but we're still going to use a sharp tool just to scrape the surface, take off a little bit more gel coat. The next thing to do is to give it a wipe over some acetone, and what the acetone will do is it will clean it further, but it will also promote adhesion for the new gel coat as well. So first of all, before I handle the acetone, we need some gloves. We're going to use one of the lint-free cloths that are provided in the kit. And as we're using a lint-free cloth, it's not going to put any fibres in the actual damaged area. That shouldn't be in there. You can still see there's a few fiberglass fibres protruding out of there, so I'm just going to dig those out a bit further. And give it another wipe over with acetone. The next stage is to mix up a small amount of Gelcoat. It's quite easy to get a good ratio of 2% catalyst to Gelcoat when you're mixing larger quantities. For example, if you're mixing up 100 grams of Gelcoat, you'll know to add 2 mils of hardener to give you the 2% ratio. It's a lot more difficult to do that when you're doing very small amounts of Gelcoat. So a basic rule of thumb I go with is for a teaspoon size of Gelcoat, use 2 droplets of hardener, and that'll give you a good cure. Ideally with the kit we do supply 60ml cups, so you can actually measure out 5 mils of Gelcoat, which is equivalent to a teaspoon size of Gelcoat, and add 2 droplets from the pipette of catalyst. So I'm just going to use one of the mixing sticks just to transfer the Gelcoat in. We get about 5 mils in there. Okay, so we take the catalyst. Be sure to read the bottle, make sure it is catalyst, you don't confuse it with any other bottles that's in the kit. The pipette will draw up 3 mils, but we're not going to need anywhere near that for this. We only need a couple of droplets, so that's more than enough. We just lightly squeeze the pipette, 1, 2 droplets in there, and transfer the rest back into the bottle. Give it a good mix. Make sure you scrape all the Gelcoat from around the sides of the cup, make sure it's well mixed in there with the catalyst. Now to put the Gelcoat in place, you can use a small pointed screwdriver and just take a bit of Gelcoat and pop that in there. Being careful not to trap any air in. You just put a small amount in first and then just build it up. Alternatively to a screwdriver, a good tip is to just take one of our mixing sticks, break it in half, and you'll end up with a pointed tool there that you can also use. And make sure you put the Gelcoat slightly proud of the surface. Now you can leave that like that just to cure off. If you wanted to, you could put some release film over there just to flatten it off slightly, but we've put just enough in there to come proud of the original surface, so we've got enough Gelcoat rub back when we finish off the repair. If you're doing a repair on a vertical surface or a slightly sloping surface and you're worried about the Gelcoat running out of the repair, it's handy to have a small piece of release film, which is also provided in the kit. Cut that to a size that's slightly larger than the repair, and have that just to hand with some tape on. good idea is just to tape it right next to the repair there, so it's easy to get hold of when you need it. Pop the gel coat in, as we did previously, but then put the release film on, just being very careful not to trap any air, and just kind of roll it over and fasten it down so it holds the gel coat in place until it cures. So we're going to do that with this repair here. Now the gel coat shouldn't really run out straight away. It's quite viscous, so it will hold its own surface tension before starting to run. You can see under the weight it's just starting to sag there now. So we take the release film, and from the bottom of the repair, just place that gently, and we just roll it up and squeeze the gel coat towards the top. And we're just going to stop there so we don't squash it down too far, and that should be enough to hold the gel coat in place until it cures. Now we've left this overnight, so it's got a full cure. So the patch is rock hard, ready to rub down with the various wet and dry papers. We've got various grades here. Again, if you've got the kit, these will be supplied. We've got the various grades. We've got the polisher compound and the UV wax. Now, I'll say we've left this overnight to go to full cure, because after about 2 hours of applying the gel coat, it may have actually cured off and feel hard to the touch, but in actual fact it'll have not have achieved full cure, which means it won't be rock hard. You'll actually be able to kind of push your thumbnail in it. And if you rub it down at that stage, what's going to happen is, with the friction and the heat build up, the patch is going to soften and then just start to crumble and fall back out again, meaning you're going to have to start all over again. So I would advise leaving it overnight to full cure. If you remember at the start, we put 2 droplets of catalyst to a teaspoon of or 5 mils of white gel coat. Now we're working here in decent working temperatures, around about 20 degrees C. If you're working in colder temperatures, you can put a little bit extra catalyst, so you could make that 4 droplets if you're working outdoors. So we're going to begin rubbing this patch down now. We've got here quite a coarse grade, which we'll not need. That's P80. It's a bit too coarse for a patch of this size and this depth. If you're doing something larger, or you put too much gel coat in, you might want to go on with that, or just scrape it down with a sharp tool just to bring the height down a bit. So we won't need that grade, but we will start off with a 240 grit and then work our way up to the finer grits. Okay, so we're just going to take a small wooden block just to keep everything straight when we're rubbing down. Because if you just go straight on with the wet and dry paper and use your hand, you could end up with an indentation where you rub down a bit too far. So we're going to wrap this around the wooden block. We can just tear the paper down to size to fit the block, and you're not wasting wet and dry paper. So that gives us a nice hard flat surface for the wet and dry. Just dip that in a small amount of water and then just start rubbing down the patch that you put in there. Change direction when you're rubbing down. This will ensure you're not rubbing down unevenly and you're not going to create a bit of a dip in the surface. You don't want to be rubbing too long with a coarse grit, because remember, as you're rubbing that patch down, you're hitting your surrounding gel coat as well. So you're putting scratches in there, and they have to be rubbed out. So literally, just use the coarse grit to take the height off and just even the surface of the patch. Once you've done that, move on to the next grade of wet and dry. So I'm going to switch over now to the 600. You start to see now that's already starting to blend in. Luckily for us, we have the colour available that this panel is actually made from. So we know we're going to get a good colour match with this. If you're not sure of the colour of the panel that you're going to repair, you might have to get in touch with the manufacturer, find out what the RAL code is, or the British Standard code. If they still can't supply that, get yourself a RAL chart and just see if it's in that booklet there. Worst case scenario, some manufacturers will have their own gel coats made up and they may not supply you with a RAL code. It is possible to get various colours of pigments, something that's pretty close to what you want to achieve, and just mix the colours together. The pigment is what colours a clear gel coat and turns that clear gel coat into a coloured gel coat. So mix enough pigment for your gel into the colour that you want, using the panel as reference. Just keep adding tints to get the right colour. It takes a bit of an artistic eye, but you might just hit lucky and get a good colour match. You will notice on our website we have over 80 different colours in gel coats, so with any luck we might be able to provide you with the colour that you need. Okay, so that patch is just about rubbed down. We'll go on with the last grade, and this is a 1200. It's actually blended in that well, I can hardly see the patch now. Okay, that's nice and level, so we're just going to polish it up. Again, take your lint-free cloth, dip it into the polish, and just massage it into the area that you've rubbed down. Remember to also polish the surrounding area, because you would have hit that with the wet and dry paper. And lastly, just give that a really good hard buff. Okay, I can still see a few dull areas, so I'm just going to give that another go over with the polishing compound. So that's the polishing done. Might not always be necessary, but if you're doing this on a boat and you've already done your UV wax protection to protect the colour of the boat, we've got UV wax provided in the kit, so you can just rub a bit of that over the patch to stop it from yellowing quicker than the rest of the boat. So there you have it, that's our finished repair using our Gelcoat repair kit. Again, if you have any further questions, you can call our technical team, and you can also find these products on our website.